What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It is I, your Morphinominal host, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new video for you guys today as we're set to go ahead and get into Zenkaiger episode number 41, guys, inching ever so closely to the finale. We don't got many episodes left, but I'm pretty sure the last couple episodes that we're definitely going to be getting should be well worth waiting for, and I'm really eager to go ahead and dive into it. We even got ourselves an episode number 42 preview at the end of this that we'll dive in towards the end of this particular review for you guys, but let's go ahead and get into it, man. Episode number 41, as I like to title, Noodle Tribalism, as we got to see a battle between Udon and Soba noodles with the brand new monster here this week when it comes to Noodle World. You know, listen, I'm usually a really big fan of when Zenkaiger goes full throttle, non-stop, sort of full power, if you will, into their themes for the week. This one didn't necessarily hit me as much as I certainly would have liked to. I got a couple of chuckles out of it for the most part, but I'm definitely Team Ramen all the way. Me and Kaito, we're like this. I absolutely love me a great bowl of ramen noodles. I do remember maybe a couple years ago, you know, my brother currently lives in Japan. He's been fascinated with Japan culture for as long as I can honestly remember him watching me watch anime, and he just kind of fell in love with the whole entire culture. He now knows it fluently. He now lives over there, works over there, sort of thing. I remember a couple years back, we actually went to a convention out in Houston, and I needed an extra cameraman, and so we actually took a little bit of a road trip down there, and he had been telling me about this ramen shop that his friends have gone to and absolutely love. So, I mean, we went to this ramen restaurant. There was a line out the door in order to go ahead and get into this place. I mean, as genuine as it comes, man. I mean, it was small, smoky inside. Got the opportunity to sit right in front of the booth while they're certainly making the ramen. Absolutely loved it. But I've always been a really big ramen fan, honestly, especially when it's done really well. Speaking of which, when we did go to the convention, I believe this is my opportunity when I got the opportunity to take a photo with all these lovely Power Ranger actors themselves. Great memorable time, to certainly say the least. But I'm definitely Team Ramen. So me and Kaito are definitely on the same page, but the girlfriend loves dabbling in Asian cuisine. She loves the idea of messing around with noodles from time to time. And if there are noodles that I've certainly tried, we definitely have when it comes to udon noodles. I've never tried soba noodles myself, so I can't really say if I'm for or against the other. But the way that she certainly makes the udon noodles, I was actually a really big fan of. So maybe it's next up that I got to try some soba noodles and really make that decision for myself, which one I'm definitely on board with. But Team Ramen all the way, to certainly say the least. But if anything, when it comes to the noodles, I think because of the fact that I haven't had too much of them before, I just didn't connect with the theme for this week. You know, when they start mentioning all these different dishes, you know, I have no idea what they're certainly talking about. So it just didn't hit me in that particular way. But I did get a really great laugh at the idea of the usage of the Sentai gear for Jetman in here, where we get to see Kaito throwing some tomato sauce on the guy on Noodle World's head in here, and Kaito using that to his advantage and saying, hey, this guy's not even for udon or soba. Look, he loves pasta. Because of the fact that he's got tomato sauce on him. And being as American as I certainly am, that definitely made me laugh, and all the pushback that everybody had from their love of noodles, like pasta, no way. So I definitely got a good little chuckle out of that. But overall, the theme didn't really do anything for me too much, besides the fact of really allowing me to represent ramen noodles as much as I possibly can. For me, I think the joy or the stuff that I really enjoyed out of this episode really comes from the father and son sort of concept that we get between Kaito along with his dad, and even the Stacey stuff in here. And when it comes to Kaito and his father, you know, I guess seeing the fact that Kaito gets him out of his brainwashing, right, brings him back to his family and things like that in the previous episode, you know, I think we get this sense of all is right in the world again, right? Like, his father is back. He can go back to living his normal life, sort of thing. he's not 100% normal anymore. Not at all. Still clearly having to recharge his batteries, which I didn't even think was certainly still a thing, right? The idea that he literally has like this portable charger now. We wind up getting hit with the really creepy eyes that honestly startled me when Kaito's trying to talk to his father and he looks up at him and all of a sudden his eyes glowing. I'm pretty sure I like jumped back from the screen a little bit. Kind of took me off guard because I was not expecting to see, oh, wait a minute, there's still something that Kaito's father has to kind of overcome. Like he's never going to be sort of 100% normal ever again, sort of thing. So I thought that was actually fascinating to let us know that, yeah, things may be right in the world, but there definitely are certainly some obstacles there. And one of those is the idea that ever since Kaito's father has come back, he really hasn't had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with his father. And while I think Kaito is okay with that, because this feels very much like his father in the sense of the professor when it comes to him wanting to be knowledgeable, right? Having that curiosity. There are moments where he kind of reminds me of Vroom, right? In the sense of, you know, he wants to soak up all this knowledge and learn everything that he can. And now that he's back in a world with Kikai noids, that's clearly going to go ahead and excite his curiosity. And so to be able to see him, you know, talking with each of the Kikai noids from Zenkaiger, learning a little bit about their world, the Kikai vegetables, I thought was pretty cool. Getting the opportunity to see him learning a little bit more about Majin and the fortune telling and stuff, and how some of it's based off of the oil that you're utilizing, sort of thing, and how she appreciates like spark fortune telling or like chord telling in the sense of like your own mechanics and stuff that might teach you a little bit, things like the sense of like reading somebody's palm, right? Maybe instead of reading their palm, you're reading their chords or something like that, right? Like just really cool, unique little things about the Kikai noids that I personally didn't know that we're learning along with the professor. So I really enjoyed getting the opportunity to see him so fascinated with the world as it is now, certainly around him. But it is also one of those things where it has sort of taken away that father and son time. And it kind of baffles me too, at the sense that by the end of this episode, the professor winds up leaving once again. And it makes me chuckle in the sense of like, I don't want to say this reminds me of Ninja Steel, where, you know, you spent all season long trying to find this person to finally bring them back. And when you do, they stick around for one episode and then they're gone. I mean, don't get me wrong. The professor leaves for extremely good reasons to go ahead and try and find Kaito's mom. But it does feel a little bit like, so I waited all season long for this just so that we don't get that father and son bonding time whatsoever, even though we do have ourselves at least one brief scene where it does feel like these two really do connect, in the sense of just seeing that encouragement that his father winds up giving to Kaito, in the sense of like, hey, if you're determined with something, if you want to figure something out, or if you want to help somebody out, then you do it at your utmost ability, right? Like you put all your effort into it to really help Kaito make a decision for himself. So, you know, that brief moment definitely goes back to like, oh, okay, there's our father and son moment. But it's like, there is another side of me that thinks to myself, we just got you back and now you're leaving. You know, what do we do all this shit for in the beginning? Is what I kind of come away with it a little bit as. But overall, I really did enjoy just what we saw, at least with the professor. Seeing him clearly being inspired by the Gold Tweaker and what Flint wind up doing with their ship. The idea of being able to jump through parallel worlds, through gates, and being able to produce them for their own. Homeboy literally makes a parallel world gate van. Eat your heart out, DeLorean from Back to the Future, right? Who cares about a sweet ass ride when you've got a parallel world jumping van to certainly enjoy? So I thought that was pretty cool to see him definitely off on his own adventure. And the one thing that I did not expect from here, right? I was very much on the impression, or at least one of the theories that I certainly had, was that the 46th gear or the 46th Super Sentai would possibly come from Kaito's mom. I thought maybe, you know, with her jumping through the gates and things like that, going to other parallel worlds, maybe she found herself in sort of a Momotaro sort of fantasy world, if you will, right? Like a fairy tale land sort of themed. And so I thought maybe she's the one that kind of created them. So to see that it's Kaito's dad that hands him a 46th gear with the Momotaro or Don Brothers theme on it, I was not expecting it to be his father that wind up actually creating it. And it seems as though he's going to be either utilizing his gear at some particular point in time in next week's episode, maybe utilizing that gear to see what it does, calls forth Don Momotaro, and maybe that's his very first appearance. Either that or Kaito winds up using the gear to turn into Don Momotaro himself. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but if anything, the way that they have utilized other gears is a sense that they put him in, fire it, and that particular Sentai team or person comes out and certainly helps you out in their own particular way. So maybe that's how this kind of all comes to fruition. I have no idea, but I am really looking forward to episode number 42, where we are officially going to get our very first look at Don Momotaro from the Don Brothers in the usage of the 46 gear. So we'll see what happens, man. Again, a little bit short-lived with the father and son stuff. I wish we had gotten at least a remainder of this season with his father around and things like that. But with him being the professor, him loving what he's doing, you can't really hold that man back. You know what I'm saying? If he's the one to inspire Kaito to believe in himself, do what he wants to do, and do what he loves with all of his ability, you kind of got to let his father do the same thing. You know what I mean? So I get it. There's a moment there that definitely rubbed me the wrong way, though. In regards to Stacey, look, Stacey the traitor gets called out in here. We come to see that Overlord Bokuwas clearly pissed and punishing Ijiru for certainly what happened in the previous episode, looking at Ijiru certainly as a failure, not quite sure exactly what goes wrong. And it winds up clicking for Ijiru in the sense that, you know what, maybe I should just go ahead and throw some blame on Stacey in here. Even though he doesn't necessarily have proof, he just thinks the only person that he could probably really put things on, because on his side he did everything he was absolutely supposed to. The fault certainly has to come when it comes to Stacey, right? The second person in command of Hakaiser, Hakaiser's best friend, if you will. And things definitely did not go right. So the idea alone that even though Ijiru doesn't have proof, you know, Stacey kind of slips up a little bit, right? Kind of implies a sense of that he did it. You know, I think it was implied that maybe he was trying to help his father, Bara Shitara, since Bara and Ijiru already have that conflict between each other, always wanting to one-up one another. So he thinks that perhaps Stacey did this to help his father in bringing Ijiru down, and Stacey unfortunately winds up slipping up and saying, you know, I didn't do it to help this dude. And Bokuwas picks up on, like, so you did it, but maybe for other reasons. And unfortunately for Stacey, Bokuwas takes his anger out on him, and it looks painful. Like, this is like the Darth Sidious moment here from Return of the Jedi, when homeboy's like just electrocuting freaking Luke Skywalker, right? Just waiting for somebody to intervene. Clearly Bara Shitara is not going to be the Darth Vader in here and help redeem himself and save his son anytime soon, but it looked painful as hell. Like, just seeing Stacey and then the electricity, like getting the opportunity to see the Stay Caesar sort of aspect of him briefly, sort of thing, as he's getting electrocuted. It looks extremely painful, and I am a little bit worried about Stacey and the future here, especially when it comes to Kaito having that conversation with his father earlier in the episode about, you know, you were such a great friend to Stacey, somebody that Stacey truly needed in his life. And with the professor not recalling any of his memories or knowing what happened to him during that time with the Toji Tendo, he personally can't even remember his friendship or what he certainly meant to Stacey. So the fact that Kaito feels a little bit bad for Stacey in the sense like, man, I sort of took away his one friend that he had. I do love sort of how poetic that is, in a sense that Kaito continues to be that selfless guy, feeling terrible about taking away a friend from Stacey, even though this is in fact his father. And we literally just saw that same selflessness Stacey worried about, right? Thinking like, you know, I'm being my father in the sense of like dangling something that Kaito wants in front of him and not allowing him to have it, right? And giving Kaito back his father finally and giving him that particular data. It is interesting to see Stacey being selfless and then Kaito sort of looking at his act kind of in a selfish way, even though he's being selfless in a sense of like just thinking about Stacey in that sense. So I continue to really love how these two characters continue to play off of each other, especially their storylines in here. And we've got Kaito now, who I feel very much this is your opportunity, you know, like now that Stacey doesn't necessarily have any friends, he's got enemies on all sides because of the choices that he's made. This is Kaito's attempt to hopefully make Stacey understand we are friends, right? As much as shit that we've been through and the bond that we've kind of created and the things that we've done for each other, I will in fact sort of be your friend. And so I'm kind of hoping that Zenkaiger himself and Kaito comes and sort of saves the day and is able to go ahead and help Stacey out, because I truly don't know what's going to happen. Like at this point, I really hope Bokuwas doesn't end up killing Stacey and using him sort of as a lesson learner, you know what I mean? Don't F with me sort of thing. So I'm hoping Stacey doesn't have a tragic demise in here, because the story has already been so tragic. For him to die or not fully get what he wants would be a really big bummer, honestly, because I truly want to see Stacey redeem himself or at least join up with the Zenkaigers at some particular point in time. But it does feel very much like Kaito now is going to be doing his best to reach out to Stacey and hopefully save him after everything that certainly happened between these two characters. So really interesting stuff, man. I'm really interested, especially as we get towards the end, what's going to happen with Stacey. Is he now going to be brainwashed to not remember who he is? Is that what the Zenkaigers are going to have to face off against? Caesar that doesn't remember anything that happened previously, sort of thing. Does he die? Is he just put into a cell and captured, sort of thing? I really want to see what happens with Stacey going forward. If you guys have any theories in regards to how we're going to see Stacey next time, definitely go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. But other than that, I'm really excited for episode 42 preview. We got a little brief glimpses of Don Momotaro, or at least the 46 Super Sentai that we're looking forward to when it comes to this upcoming March. How he's going to fit into next week's storyline. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty badass just to see at least some of the power-ups, some of the moves he's capable of. It looks like we're even going to get the opportunity to see his mecha involved a little bit too. So I'm assuming Jurin immediately sort of gets thrusted into this combination once this 46 gear is certainly activated. So should be a good time. I'm really looking forward to episode number 42. So I don't want to say my expectations are super high, but I'm definitely expecting some goodness, guys. But listen, at the end of the day, these are just simply my A+ opinions. I want to know yours, though. What did you guys think of episode 41 of Zenkaiger? And if there's any character moments, storyline details that I might have missed that you want to go ahead and further talk about, please let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below after this video airs, and we'll definitely go ahead and continue this discussion until next week's episode. But until then, do me a big favor, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.